Excuse me, do you know why we pulled you over today? Exactly, it's because you're not subscribed. So you better fix that right now, or we're gonna have to take you in. I feel like it's interesting because it like summarizes a bunch of these reviews, and I feel like it's more interesting than like all the specs for spec features. So let's just get into this one.
Mac Studio reviews, impressive power and efficiency, but overkill for many users. Apple will start selling the new Mac Studio this Friday. While users wait to get their hands on this new piece of hardware, journalists and analysts have published their experience with Apple's latest desktop. According to The Verge, the Mac Studio is the computer everyone wanted the Mac Pro to be. The other thing I want to emphasize is that this computer is shockingly quiet for the power it offers. Even when we were doing elaborate things in Adobe After Effects and Blender, stuff that would have had the fans on any Intel desktop I've ever used absolutely roaring, the studio was inaudible. I'd put my ear to the case, and while I could literally feel the fans vibrating beneath me, they were still silent. And the only time we ever felt it blowing hot air was during gaming, which we'll get to later.
Yeah, definitely. I still can't believe the Mac Studio is this small and yet so powerful. Yeah, same. It's crazy. This is literally mental because, like, if you look at, for example, the other mini, let's say, desktops from the x86 side or the PC side, it's not even close. It's not even close. It's mental. And I feel like if you look at the M1 already, it's so insanely fast. And then the M1 Pro, the M1 Max, it's not even close. Especially if you remove the charger, right? Which reminds me that I have to plug in a little bit before the stream ends. But if you look at Intel x86, right? The moment they have to unplug, or the moment that they have a smaller size, so they can't cool the chip as much, the performance just goes down. Like, there is no enclosure like that with a 3090 and a 12 what is it, like the 12900K i9. It doesn't exist because you're just going to, it's going to burn. It's literally going to burn down and melt. So anyways, it's crazy. It's literally it's mental. Faster than the Mac Pro, blows my mind this day. To this day, it blows your mind too. Yeah, same. So it literally, like, I can't believe it, and it is like mental. It's mental.
And the only time we ever felt it blowing hot air was during gaming, which we'll get to later. Engadget calls the Mac Studio the Big Mac Mini and says Apple got it right again with its desktop. The publication praises the design of the product. The Mac Studio has some benefits that are obvious even before you turn it on. It doesn't take up much floor or desk space. It's easy to move around, clocking in at either £5.90 for the M1 Max model or £7.90 for the M1 Ultra. And its curvy aluminum case looks like something you'd find at MoMA. It's not meant to disappear into the background like the Mac Mini. No, the Studio deserves a prominent spot on your desk, a symbol that you've become a true creative professional. Also, you definitely want it on your desk to get easy access to all of its ports. So many ports. Pocket Link goes with the same approach, and as both of the publications above mention, it reminds users that once the Mac Studio is purchased, it's not upgradable. Both models can then be upgraded further. Tick all the boxes and you'll end up with an Apple M1 Ultra with a 20-core CPU, 64-core GPU, and 32-core neural engine. You can also upgrade to 128 GB of unified memory, let that sink in for a moment, and 8 TB of SSD storage. It's a lot, like, a lot, of money. It's also not upgradable after the fact, so once you've locked in that order, that's it. You can't add in more memory or anything else internally. 6 Colors reminds us that this is the first entirely new entry in the Mac product line in a very long time. The Mac Studio is the go-to product for those who are looking for a powerful desktop.
Yeah, I would say that that is something that is coming back for really, every single review, right? Because they like this is something that is for the first time in a really long time going to be a next entire new lineup of Macs, right? I feel like the next Mac Studio is probably going to be the one with the M2 Ultra, and this lineup is going to keep refreshing itself, and it's a completely new line. It's a completely new set of devices, and it came back a lot in the reviews as well. So I think that's interesting. I feel like for me, the most interesting part is that this thing is apparently outperforming the 13K Mac Pro, which is going to save you about 5K in USD. It's crazy. This is mental. It is shit like this that I feel like makes Apple such a such a good like option for people that obviously need it, and obviously people that have some apps that they can run on the Apple Silicon computer, right? But if that is something that fits in your use case, if it is something that fits in your workflow, you're in. Is it really overkill for most people? I wouldn't say it's overkill for most people. So, but I feel like what people fail to realize is that this is something that you're probably going to use, unless you're MKBHD, that you're probably going to use for the next 4 to 5 years, right? So if it's overkill right now, good. It might not be in 5 years. So just imagine that you can plan ahead for 5 years. So yeah, probably today it might be overkill for you, but like if you're talking about scaling up your business in the next 5 years, this is good. It's good that it's overkill. I don't understand why that's an argument to not buy something. Like obviously you need to make smart decisions. So if you're making like 1080p videos and that is something that you're going to do for the next 5 years as well, then yeah, investing in a device like that is just crazy. But maybe you just like tech like we do here. So then, yeah, you can justify it for yourself. But if we're strictly talking about value, if you are planning on upgrading your business, then yeah, it's good that it is overkill. It's not necessarily an argument to not buy something. It's just an investment in the future, right? I don't know. I do not understand why that is an argument against buying something. Anyways. Keep it pumping. What do we have here? There was a lot of complaints about Apple saying upfront that it won't be upgradable, and apparently some people say that it is upgradable. So now they're accusing Apple of lying and blah blah. Now, some people do it obviously ironically, other people do it unironically, and then that's obviously the news. Anyways, I would say that to just not get completely into this, because I feel like we might get into this in the reacts later today. I would say it makes sense that a device like this could swap SSDs and stuff like that. Yeah, if it is at all possible, right? Because I don't know, maybe it isn't possible, and these slots just do not work with anything that is consumer that a consumer can buy. Maybe it does, I'm not sure. If it does, it's cool, fine. I think people should be happy about that. If it doesn't, like, I feel like Apple said that it's not user upgradable, so I feel like we're hyping people up now a little bit to expect that they can just open the lid and put an SSD in there. I feel like Apple to this day hasn't replied to it yet. So let me see. No, it's still the same article here. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this is something that you should hope for. It's cool that it's there, and yes, you would be able to say like, oh, yeah, cool that Apple is looking into making things upgradable. I wouldn't be too. Yeah, I wouldn't be hoping too much of this. I'm just saying. Just take it as what it is. It's news. Apparently, there are slots and potentially upgradable. We're going to have to see if it's actually upgradable. What happens when you put something in that slot? Yeah, yeah. it makes no sense for me to sit here and be like, oh, look at this, and now it's upgradable. I don't know. And maybe it's also in this article, right, that obviously the full video, yes, is well worth it. Ultimately, it's unclear if Apple purposefully designed the Mac Studio to allow for SSD storage upgrades down the line, but it's interesting, the possibility to consider. Yeah, it's something that you can consider. It's something that you can obviously keep in mind, especially when Apple replies on it. Like if Apple says that yes, this is upgradable, or maybe Apple can upgrade it for you or something like that, then yeah, that by all means, like, take it into account. But for now, acknowledge it, know that it's there, know that this is apparently a thing, but also just do not make any purchase decisions on this. Apple says it's not user upgradable. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they say it up front, but again, I'm not gonna get into all that bullshit. SSD replaceable, could explain the modular wording. No, I think that this is stuff that the modular wording is because you can just replace everything around it, right? So the display, the peripherals, whatever. And mostly the display. So this is in Apple's mind, the word modular is enough there. Then I'm not sure. For other people's, it's just it has a higher threshold. To me, I would say that yeah, it's kind of modular. It's fine. I do not touch anything inside my Mac ever. So not in the Mac Pro, not in the MacBook Pro. I take Apple Care Plus and I tell them, yo, this isn't working anymore. Can you fix it? And they usually do, because it is Apple Care Plus. So that's just my take, and I don't know, I feel like Apple has been the company that doesn't do too much with user upgradable products, right? They have the Mac Pro, but it kind of ends there. And you know this up front. If you're spending $7,000 or $8,000 or even $4,000 or $2,000 on a device, and you're not doing any research on if you can upgrade it, if it's something that fits your, I don't know, your principles on right to repair or whatever, then I'm sorry, I'm not feeling sorry for you. You apparently have so much disposable cash that you can go into a store and buy a $2,000 device, and then later down the line be surprised that you can't open it, or at least it's not supposed to be opened by the user. Like, if that is your spending habit, then why do you want me to feel sorry for you? I feel maybe I should feel sorry for the people that should be taking care of you, because apparently you can't handle money. You're just spending it on stuff that apparently you're not researching. Like, I can understand if this device is like $200 and people just buy it on an impulse and then find out, oh shit, it's not user upgradable, and they get mad. Right? On the other end, it's $200, so what can you expect? This device is very expensive, so a lot of people expect it to be user upgradable. I also expect a lot of people to do research before they buy it. Like, and I would believe Apple does that as well. It's not a lot of research that you have to do, by the way, for $2,000. Right when you buy it. Right when you buy it, you can just feel like you can click on this. That's all the research you have to do. So before you spend, let's say this is the base model. Before you spend $999, before you spend $1,999 fucking dollars on a base model Mac. What's happening to my fucking green screen, dude? Before you spend that amount of money on a Mac, and then out of a sudden feel like, oh shit, I didn't know that this is not user upgradable. Dude, you just spent $2,000 and you couldn't even click on this link right here. Oh wait, that didn't go over. Okay, apparently you might have to click 2 links for those $2,000 right here. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. 2 links? I have to click on 2 links? Mental. Maybe You might even have to click on 3 links to understand that the SSD is also not user upgradable. Or maybe it is, but according to Apple, it isn't. So this is just shit that I feel like obviously people are going to be mad and going to say like, oh yeah, and you're not a pro-consumer if you say this thing is very anti-consumer, which is interesting, right? Because like they say like Apple is like Apple should be truthful and forthcoming, which I feel like this is very forthcoming. Like it's 1 link before you spend a minimum of about $2,000 on a device. But anyways, they say like when it's about right to repair, they say no, consumers are actually quite smart. They can replace their own screens. They can replace their own batteries. They can replace their own broken parts in their smartphone. That's easy. Like we need to have components available for everyone in the world, because like Apple acting like consumers aren't smart enough to repair their own devices is actually humiliating. It's so bad. It's so anti-consumer. But then if we're talking about clicking on 3 links to understand that your minimum of $2,000 purchase that you're about to make is not user upgradable, people are not smart enough to do that, apparently. Right? Because like, again, if there was such a big base of people that would say they want it to be user replaceable or repairable, otherwise they wouldn't have bought it, then just do a little bit of research and vote with your wallet. If no one buys this device because of right to repair, because the right of repair is not being honored, right, in this situation, in this transaction, then Apple would change it because they need money. So it's just how it works. But you're complaining after the fact while there is a flippin' easy link you can click on and understand it won't be user replaceable or repairable. You can't access anything in the device. So why are consumers smart enough to replace their entire flippin' inside of their phone with like minuscule chips and all that stuff? That is all, like, Apple should just completely say like, okay, no, consumers are smart enough. Here, you have all the components. Do what you need, right? Do what you want. Get some solder joints. Let's go. But clicking a few links is like, oh no, Apple is hiding it. Apple is not forthcoming about like it not being replaceable, it not being repairable. It's mental. Like these people are so selective about how smart consumers are. Consumers are just smart the moment they need them to be smart, which is interesting, right? If they want consumers to be dumb and say like, well, no, this is very anti-consumer because Apple is hiding that it's upgradable. Apple should make it upgradable because like this is how devices should work. Which is, who's saying that? You are saying that? It's right there before you buy it. So if there is this mass group of people that do not want to buy it because it's not upgradable, don't buy it. Where is this mass exodus to the PC industry? It's not there. Mac users stay with Mac. Even though they know it's not upgradable, even though they know it's not repairable, the people that are complaining about it are mostly people that either don't do the research before they buy a $2,000 fucking device, or people that don't use it at all and just want to, I don't know, complain on their little fucking podcast that they have with like other PC enthusiasts and then keep complaining about how anti-consumer stuff is. Baffles me. But anyways,